What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to Blazers Uprise Live, powered by BetUS here on a Thursday. Eric, I'm in a different spot than my normal location. Had to get the setup right. I forgot how much I have to set up to run the stream, but we're ready to go, and we got a fun stream for you guys tonight. As today, we're going to be talking about not what's on the left, because that is not updated. Like I said, the setup is a work in progress, but I'll toss up what we're going to talk about right now. There it is on the left side. We're going to talk Olympics. We're going to talk about, are the Blazers the worst team in the West? We'll also do a chat poll for that, as well as a chat poll for over under 22 and a half wins, courtesy of BetUS. That line, I want to see what you guys would take. Also, the Seattle Trailblazers. I'm kind of trolling with that one. We're going to talk about it, and it's not negative, okay? It's not negative. Is that would imply negativity? It's not negative, okay? I promise. And then we're going to react to some trade ideas courtesy of Rip City Project. Me and Eric have not seen these trade ideas, but they're big man trade ideas. And it's funny because the only thing I've seen on this article, Eric, is the subtitle, and it says Wait, let me pull the article back up. It says the Blazers somehow went from having too many guards to 4 centers. So it's trade ideas to clear the Blazers' big man logjam. I'm looking forward to reacting to those. But before we get into all that, Eric, how's your Thursday? How's your week been?
Oh, not too bad. Looking forward to this weekend. How about you?
It's good, man. I am going out to the beach this weekend. So life's a little chaotic right now, but I'm going out to the beach. My family is already down there, hence why I'm streaming from somewhere else. I had to run up here to grab some camping equipment. I figured, why not stream somewhere else? A little bit different. Kind of like streaming from here. I've streamed from here before. I just mix up the camera angles. It's a nice house, Eric. It's a nice house, so I get to mix up the camera angles and stuff. Whereas usually I can't. So I like it. I love it. We're gonna talk about a lot of fun stuff today. Chat, how's your week been? Let me know in the live chat. Eric, anything interesting happened to you this week?
Interesting. No, not really.
Bummer. Chat, anything interesting happened to you guys this week? Let me know in the live chat. Yeah, it's been a pretty mundane week, to say the least. Although in my life, mundane is kind of wild sometimes. So, just I'm trying to get this rundown working, but it's not. Anyway, go ahead.
I do have a question for you and chat.
Yep.
So I personally love coaching. It's just something that I really enjoy doing.
Life coaching?
No, like sports coaching. So this last in spring, I coached my daughter's soccer team. She really wanted me to coach. Had a great time doing so. She ended up making a competitive team where they have a coaching staff in place and all that kind of stuff. And when they started out, they said that they don't want anyone coaching from the sidelines, meaning fans or whatever, or parents. But at the same time, she's 7. She doesn't really know what to do, and she's told me in the past that she needs me. She's saying it helps her to know what to do, or to hear me yelling out what to do if she's lost or whatever.
Of course.
So they've had a couple tournaments over the last couple weekends, and the coach isn't super vocal. She's one of those, I'm not saying anything bad. It's just she doesn't believe in being super loud or yelling or whatever. And so a lot of times, if they're on the opposite side of the field or down the field, they can't hear the directions. So I'm trying to help them like when they're on our side of the field or whatever. And so it wasn't directed at me because like every parent was pretty much doing it, but there was an email reminding us after the last tournament that we need to be quiet on the sidelines except for cheering on our thing. So I'm kind of like torn between whether I should keep directing them or if I should just like keep my mouth shut or whatever, because like I feel like they do need some sort of guidance. I'm trying not to like do like things that the coach doesn't want to do or whatever, but like I don't know, I feel like sometimes it's good to have some direction from the other side as well.
Tisk tisk, Eric.
Yeah.
How dare you? How dare you? You know what you got to do then? You got to sneak in like a little earpiece under her hair and then just like whisper into your shirt. And nobody will know. They'll just think you're a weirdo. Like, why does this dude keep wiping his mouth? But
that's
secretly, you'll be coaching her up from the side.
That's a good idea. Put like a Bluetooth in her ears.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea. That's my type of coaching right
like
there.
A hearing aid.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Because so they give everyone who wants to be goalie a chance at goalie, a chance to do it. But she's never played goalie before, so like. The first time I was like kind of down there telling her like, okay, we need to shade to the left, shade to the right, or like move according to where it goes. And then like anytime the person driving in was like kind of left the ball in front of them a little too much, I would tell her to like dive on it or whatever. And she was doing a good job, but like she didn't really know what to do without me telling her, and the coach is all the way on the other side of the field. So like, I was just like kind of like I wasn't trying to be like overstepping my bounds or anything, but I also feel like they don't know how to play yet. They've only been practicing for a few weeks, and like some of these teams they're playing have been together for years and stuff. So I don't know.
Eric Brandt always overstepping his bounds.
I know, jeez, yeah.
Always overstepping your bounds.
I also don't want to like get her like in trouble with the team or whatever.
I mean, why would she get in trouble? It's not her fault. You're just a very vocal guy.
Yeah, but like I said, I felt more comfortable because there was actually parents worse than me like yelling.
Were there? Yeah. I mean, that's how it is at any youth sporting event. You're not going to control that ultimately. Like, It's going to be what it's going to be. So, I don't know. I don't really know what they expect, man.
Yeah.
But I wonder. Sometimes I wonder what I would be like if I had a kid and I was coaching up my kid, especially in basketball.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man. I can be a very chill guy. I feel like I might be that chill parent that coaches up the kid outside of the games and then, it can hold back. But also at the same time, I might be a complete maniac. I don't know. I have not gotten in touch with myself as a father yet, obviously, because I'm not a father yet.
Yeah.
Yet. Wink.
It's really tough for me because, like, obviously, I would love if any of my kids were like super into a sport or just like one. Like, I don't even care which one. Just like get really into it. I mean, obviously, if it was basketball, that's the thing I'm most knowledgeable about. But like, I'm starting to learn soccer a little bit. So yeah, I don't know.
You can relate with Connor now.
But like I've never like we tell our kids that they have to play something or do an activity or choose a sport or whatever to play, but I've never like forced them to like be anything. And so when she wanted to try out for a competitive team, I thought that was cool. And but the funny thing is, she's decent at basketball for her age. Like it's tough with girls because it's until it's like fifth or sixth grade, it's really difficult to like do anything because it's just so hard for them to get the ball up to the hoop. But like this is actually maybe pushing her more towards like, oh well, I want to give basketball more of a shot now. So like I was like, oh yeah. The other day we were at the gym and she didn't want to leave until she made 100 baskets. So I was like, that's awesome. Like I've just never pushed or done anything. But
Yeah. Shout out to PDX Papermaker, a.k.a. our guy Carson. Member for 26 months. Says, is there an announcement on the way, Tori?
oh,
You know what, Carson? You guys wouldn't even get an announcement. There would just be a day where I'm like,
crying baby.
well, I was thinking there will just be a day where I'm like, Eric, I got a surprise in store for today. Don't ask why I'm outside. And it's a gender reveal party.
Oh wow.
And just no context. I don't even go into depth. A little 5-minute gender reveal party, and then I just talk Blazers because that's obviously all that I live for. But thank you, Carson, for being a channel member.
Would you like shoot a basketball and when it went through the hoop, it like exploded into whatever color? That'd be cool.
That'd be a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Son, my first shot I shot for you, I missed.
You see those ones where it's like a baseball swing and they just completely whiff or whatever, and then it like explodes on them.
I don't get gender reveal parties, man. Like, they're fun, but some people they're just way too extra. Especially the people starting wildfires and stuff. I will keep it mundane. You guys won't even know. You'll just randomly hear like a faint cry in the background of a stream. You'll be like, Tori, I didn't even know you talked to girls. How do you like where's that what's that baby?
Touch grass?
Yeah, I don't know. Something. But yeah, maybe I'll join you and Chase soon. Who knows? You never know. Anyway.
Yeah, I just did the
try to
whole
find
traditional like ultrasound.
It's hard to get in the zone here. Like, I'm not in my normal room because I was trying to figure out a way to segue gender reveal party into Team USA surviving against Serbia today.
That's pretty tough transition.
Yeah, I just started stammering. Chat, is there a 10 Blazers Uprise points to anyone in chat that can segue gender reveal party into Team USA barely surviving today? Eric, did you watch this game? Have you had the opportunity to see the highlights from this game?
So I watched some of the first half on my lunch, and unfortunately just had to follow along with the second half. Obviously saw the last couple minutes through highlights, but yeah, I mean the OGs, the old dudes, got it done and came up big for us when we needed them the most.
Yeah, so I tuned in when they were down like 15. It was like, oh my goodness, this is not what I was expecting because they blew out Serbia twice. One in exhibition, one in pool play. Play them again. Serbia was on fire from 3. You just kind of had a feeling like, yeah, they're going to erase this 15-point deficit. They got too much talent. I don't really understand Serbia not playing more through Jokic, Eric. Especially down the stretch as the 3-point shots that served them well all game long started to fail them. You got, multi-time MVP on your team. I just thought they should have played through them a little bit more because their offense got a little ugly there at the end.
Well, they did more than the last couple of games. It's almost like they were not trying to show stuff that they showed today in the previous meetings because they played once.
Yeah.
In the lead up to the tournament, and then they played once in group play, obviously. It felt like they were just trying to hold them off. But it is crazy that, I mean, Serbia should have lost last game. They're down 24 or something, I think, to Australia.
Yeah.
Came all the way back, won in overtime, and then has USA down 17 at one point. I think it was, 13 or something going into the fourth quarter. And just completely fell apart at the end.
Watching Team USA get out in transition just makes me wish the Blazers would get out in transition, man, because that's how they kind of sparked this comeback. LeBron, transition bucket. Curry, transition bucket. They're at their best when they're getting out and running the floor, and they're at their best with LeBron James leading that charge.
He's so good, man.
He's so good. You know what was funny, too, is I listened to a little bit of radio today. It wasn't my beloved 750 The Game. It was a different station. I'm not gonna call it the station. You can maybe guess who it is, but They started talking about the Olympics game. Before they even got to a minute of talk about this Olympics game, they were already talking about how the 92 Dream Team was better. It just made me cringe.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was based off them feeling themselves in a lot of comparisons between the two leading up to this game, but you knew that was coming if they got in a close game.
Yeah, I knew it was coming. It's just like there was also a lot of LeBron hate in that segment. LeBron, they're worse with him on the floor. He slows them down. They move the ball better without him. It's like they get out and run with LeBron. Like, LeBron in transition is such a threat, and they're at their best when they're running the floor. So I didn't understand that take. I mean, Tatum doesn't play today. There's been debate about maybe, Steve Kerr's making a mistake there. There was a lot of heat for Steve Kerr until they came back today for how he coached this game. I didn't really understand what it was for specifically, just a lot of stuff reading online. Good old Twitterverse. But overall, I mean, they get into a gold medal match, which should be a phenomenal matchup. I said I'm going camping. I am trying to watch that game on Saturday. I will go find a freaking coffee shop. I do not care. It's the matchup everybody wanted. It's France, the hometown team, Wembanyama, Rudy Gobert, although he got benched, which is just crazy. You got Rudy Gobert. You got Blazer legend Nick Batum, who's playing phenomenal defense. You got Evan Fournier, who he's washed in NBA terms, Eric. He's still a dangerous international player. And I'm sure I'm forgetting a couple names, but they got NBA players on that roster. But, of course, it's Wembanyama, it's Gobert, it's the rim protection.
Don't they have Yabusele?
Yabusele, good old Yabusele. Never came over. Wasn't he the 16th pick?
No, he came over. He played a couple years for Boston.
Did he? See, he was so ass, I forgot he came over.
Right.
I was thinking he never came over. Because, he was a Boston pick. I believe he was the 16th pick. But they're going to have a lot of talent in future years. Risa Shea, it seems like he'll be a good international player on this level. Bilal Coulibaly, honestly, I like Bilal Coulibaly more long-term than Risa Shea. I think Bilal is going to be a problem. Their time is coming. But they might be able to beat Team USA because if they can protect the rim and USA struggles from the three-point line, France has a chance to win this game. If USA can hit threes, they're going to win. Or if USA can get out in transition and not let France set the rim protection, I think they'll win. But, man, being down 15 to Serbia, it was like just they didn't defend the three-point line. Serbia just three after three after three. Steph Curry masterclass, his best international game ever.
Easily, yeah.
36, 9 for 14 from three. About time he went off. And then, Booker's playing a lot of minutes. It's kind of funny because Booker is kind of like one of their defenders. Which is just weird to say.
I mean, it's an underrated defender, but...
Yeah. Yeah, but, that's the role he needs to play on that team. It's cool seeing some of these stars, especially like playing next to other stars. It's kind of like an all-star team in a way, but they're defending. Durant's pressing, like it's fun to watch, man. I'm enjoying watching this team. And it's fun to root for Team USA because it's like the only time you'll ever root for Braun. Until he comes here because Phil Knight pays him under the table. I don't know. After Phil Knight buys the team, right? It's the only time you'll ever get to root for LeBron. It's probably the only time you'll ever get to root for Devin Booker. So it's fun to root for these superstars that otherwise, like, they're never going to be Blazers. You're never going to root for them in a Blazer uniform. But you can root for them on Team USA. So I've gotten into that. I'm glad they're going to this gold medal match. It's going to be fun to see them take on France because I want them to beat France, Eric. I know some Americans are rooting on our downfall, but I'm Team USA.
Yeah, of course. France has been weird. They did not play well in the group stages. Germany looked like easily the better team, but in this format, all it takes is one good game, and Germany goes down. And so they had dreams of at least a silver medal, and now they're looking at having to win another game for bronze. That's going to be a good game too, Germany and Serbia.
Yeah, I agree. People in chat saying, go ahead.
France beat Canada too, right? Which is
Yeah.
pretty big.
Canada's going to be a problem long term. We'll see if next Olympics Shaden Sharp should be on that team probably. And maybe the Blazers can get Cooper Flag and Cooper Flag will be on Team USA. That would be fun, right? Flag versus Sharp on the international stage.
Yeah.
Both of them ours. That'd be sick. People in chat are saying, why would Americans root against Team USA? I don't know. Ask our moderator, Connor.
Well, I think this ties in kind of with the Noah Lyles thing because they were kind of rooting for Noah Lyles to lose. Which, I mean, he won gold in the 100, so you can't really say anything, even though he didn't win the 200. But I think there was some tension there between those two.
Stupid. Like,
yeah.
I know the reason, Eric, but can you just articulate it for me? Why people are rooting against Noah Lyles?
Well, I mean, he just had that comment that the NBA champion isn't the world champion, and that he plays a sport where there's world champions, or something to that effect. And a lot of NBA players did not like that comment.
That's just being sensitive as hell. Who the hell cares, man? Like, why are you rooting against this dude, fellow countryman, on the world stage? Because of that comment. Like, really? That upsets you that much? I think that's just being fragile.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because a lot of athletes in general, including all the USA basketball players, but a lot of athletes, and especially a lot of sprinters, are really brash and super cocky and stuff like that. And I think that rubs some people the wrong way too, because he hasn't always performed, but I mean, he did in the 100, and you can never take that away from him. So,
I mean, hasn't always performed. He's one. It's hard to win gold medals, man. So even before this, he's very accomplished even before this gold medal.
Yeah, but he's talked a lot for not having a gold medal.
NBA players talking all the time that haven't even done anything in the NBA. Like, it's just petty to me. It's just petty. Like, he's your fellow countryman. Why you got a problem? I'm saying it's a lot of NBA ones. Yeah. I know. That stuff is just stupid to me. So people going back and rooting against Team USA for that, I also think that's being petty and sensitive and just dumb. No offense to the people watching the stream that were rooting against Team USA, because I think there's a couple of them. But
I think it's also a lot of trolls that just think it's funny if we send our NBA players and then lose,
Man. We have no pride anymore as Americans, huh? I don't know. I think other than those two things, I feel like this Olympics has been very prideful for the U.S. I don't know. I think it's been good. Yeah, I don't know.
Although
I'm not rooting against an American, man.
So
unless, well, go ahead.
I don't think this particular Olympics it's been like political, but like the last, I was at the World Cup with the women's soccer team when they lost, and there was all these Americans like, ha ha ha, you guys suck or whatever, like, glad you lost. Remember that? It's become weird. Like certain teams or certain people they root against. Several people were, for some reason, rooting against Simone Biles because she's a quitter from last Olympics, which is stupid too. And so, yeah.
See, you know what it is? It's people in their basement that'll never have the pressure in their life of performing on a World Olympic stage making comments like that. They can't even fathom that sort of pressure but they'll judge somebody for how they deal with it. Stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Anyway. Saturday's going to be fun, man.
Yeah. When is the women's soccer game?
No idea. No idea. I just know it's on in the middle of the night. And unfortunately, I can't stay up all night anymore. Like the good days. I remember being like in high school in summer and just watching Olympics in the middle of the night. Those were the days, man. So I've just been watching reruns and stuff, highlights, that sort of thing. So yeah. Anyway, it's time we have a conversation about your Portland Trail Blazers. Are they the worst team in the West? Now, Eric, list the teams that you think could be contenders for the worst team in the West right now.
In my opinion, I mean, obviously, injuries could change this, but the only teams that have a chance are to be last in the West are the Blazers, the Jazz, and the Spurs, maybe. I don't know if the Jazz and Spurs are really going to be that bad. So
the Spurs, if like Wemby gets the Spurs, if Wemby gets hurt, they're a contender. But if Wemby's healthy all season, like I just don't see how. But
I mean, they weren't good last year. He played.
Yeah, but he was a rookie.
Season. Yeah, but I'm just saying, like they didn't do a good job of playing with him. Like he dominated games, but that still didn't matter. Like they didn't have a good. I don't know.
I think Chris Paul's going to make a major difference. Paul. He's not that good anymore, but they had no point guard play. Yeah. Stephon Castle, he'll help them right away.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be better. I honestly don't even want to put the Spurs in that conversation. I think
they're clearly top 13.
I think it's more likely the Spurs are at least a play-in team than the worst team in the West.
Yeah, if that was like a bet US option, I would. I think I would choose play-in.
Maybe I could pull some strings.
I wonder. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is if they're like super enamored with Cooper Flag, pairing him alongside Wemby, and pull the shoot or something. Like I could see the Spurs being a sneaky team that does that.
Is there also something where like Houston overachieved last year?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, they're just
well coached.
Talent.
They're well coached.
And I mean, who knows when Şengün will be ready?
But they were just as good without him last year.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're hurting that bad because of him. But the thing is like you got to rely on Jalen Green then, and he played really good 10 last year, but we've seen him for stretches of seasons just routinely shoot his team in the foot because he just is a volume shooter that is prone to some really cold stretches.
Yeah, but if he has that, you just play Cam and amend more, and I think they're pretty set. Oh, Reed Shepherd now? Yeah, that team. I think Reed Shepherd's pretty solid for them not slipping.
Those three names against the Blazers' best three players, are those three guys better than the Blazers' top three? I don't think so. Here's the weird thing about this conversation for me, is I side with chat. 76% of chat says yes. I side with chat with the Blazers being the worst team in the West. But I also feel like they have a lot of talent for being the worst team in a conference.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, I think this is a case where the in teams in the West, whoever that ends up being, are better than most years' 13, 14, 15 seeds.
Yeah, because if Detroit was in our conference, I'd put Portland above Detroit right now. If Washington was in our conference, I'd put Portland above Washington right now. Easily. Like, not even a thought. There are no teams like that in this conference.
I think those are the only two, though, right?
Brooklyn.
Oh, Brooklyn. Yeah, Brooklyn. I forgot.
And who knows? They still might trade Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith. Right now, I'd be tempted to put Portland above Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, look down this roster, like you got a lot of young dudes that if they take a jump, this team might not be that bad. If a lot of things, there is potential for this team to be better than we expect next year. I didn't really feel that way last year, but when you got Scoot going into year 2, you got Sharp going into year 3, you finally have a little bit of chemistry between Ayton and some of the guys on this team. Like, he played better at the end of last year. If you still have Jeremy Grant. And then off the bench, I think Klingon will be a impactful defender as a backup center. You might have a healthy Rob Will. You got Kamara, who was phenomenal and going into his second year. And then, right now, you'd have to bring one of Scoot or Sharp off the bench, right? Because you're going to start Denny, you're going to start Grant. What's up?
You think? That's
logical.
I'd be.
If they want to bring Grant off the bench, fine. You know what I mean? But also, how does that help his trade value, right? You might as well just trade him now. If they bring Denny off the bench, that's a freaking travesty. That is a travesty. I will rant every post-game show he comes off the bench. I don't think they're bringing him off the bench. I think it's going to be one of Sharp or Scoot. The point is, if your bench is Sharp or Scoot with Kamara, Robert Williams, Donovan Klingon, Matisse Thybulle, you can sprinkle him in there.
I was going to say
Thybulle. How bad is that bench compared to the rest of the league? I feel like that bench isn't terrible. I wouldn't put them top 10, but I think you can make a case that they're close to average off the bench.
Obviously, if Scoot is playing like he did towards the end of last season, I think that's pretty solid. Yeah.
Kamara, I think, is a good player. I think Kamara is a good player in general. Just because he does, defensively, he's phenomenal. You make the case he's a top 20 defender last year. And then offensively, he started to come along. If he can take more steps offensively, he's a very good two-way player. They got Sharp or Scoot off the bench. That could be one of the best bench guards in the entire league.
Yeah.
And if Klingon can be... Klingon has potential to be immediately impactful, legitimately impactful defensively from day one. Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. You got some pieces on that bench. The problem is you don't got star power at all. That's what they're missing. So it's weird just to look at a team like that where it's man, their bench could actually be pretty good. And you got some guys that can give you 20, and you got some defensive pieces, Kamara, Avdia, Klingon. But they're the worst team in the West.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
And that could be true if Sharp or Scoot take a jump, or both of them take a jump. Anthony and Grant play well. Klingon's first or second team all rookie. And yeah, I think Kamara takes a jump. I still think they're, for now at least, a year or two away from not being the worst team.
Is there a chance we're what we set out to be, apparently? And do you know what I mean by that, Eric?
Rephrase the question, or
is there a chance that this year we actually are what we set out to be?
Well, I think they're setting out to be bad this year. I don't know.
What we set out to be half a year ago. Because, we're directionless. So, what we wanted half a year ago is not what we wanted now. But half a year ago, we wanted to be the Houston Rockets. The Houston Rockets were expected to be in the same exact position as we were last year, and then we're a 500 team. Mm-hmm. The thing is, they brought in a couple of vets. But I don't know, man. What is the ceiling on this team, I guess, is the question.
I think you'd.
Do they? Is it even possible that they could be a 500 team like the Rockets were last year? Because I feel like if we had this conversation last year about the Rockets, we'd be like, no, they're not. They're not. There's no way they're going to be a 500 team. And then they were. And every year there's just like a team like that just is better than you expect.
Well, they
is there a chance that's the
obviously
Blazers?
were trying to be like a 500 team, which I think is the wrong approach. The
Yeah.
Blazers, if they were like a 500 team this year, would obviously mean that they had some huge jumps from some of their young guys. And so I think that's like a more natural progression than just like trying to trade or buy your way there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think that would set this team up really well for the future. I just have a hard time because that's like a lot of games they have to win against teams that are still pretty talented. So,
I mean, Houston was in that boat last year, found their way to 500.
But
I would say this: if
did
the
they
Blazers,
finish 500?
yeah, 41 and 41.
41 and 41.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they were 11th, right? So I'd say this: if they had a good coach, I think their ceiling would be 500. I think if they had, I don't want Ime Udoka as coach, but if they had Ime Udoka as coach,
Yeah.
then it's like, okay, well, you need a lot of things to go right, but if all those things go right, like, what's their ceiling? That's a conversation. Okay. I see Savvy and Chet say, Tori, no. We're talking about top end outcome here, obviously.
Yeah.
The expectation is
'Cause they still
obviously
have
they're going to
veteran
suck.
players that are-
But you got some veterans, you got some pieces, you got more defenders now, and you got young guys that can take a jump offensively. I mean, it's not for certain that they're going to be a 20-win team next year if they try and win.
Yeah.
So,
I think I know you're saying if they let them be who they are, that certainly Anthony will welcome that because he doesn't want to sit out games again. But yeah, see that the X factor is just at what point does Cronin prevent them from doing that?
Yeah.
And that's what's happened the last few years because I think I don't know if they don't trade Josh Hart and they just let the team play, they might have made the play-in. I don't know. Like they would have been close. I don't know. It's kind of weird. 2 years ago, not last year.
my prediction is they're the 14th team in the West because one team gets ravaged by injuries and is somehow worse, like the Memphis Grizzlies last year.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
They went into the season with Jaw suspended for, 25 games,
Yeah.
So they already had...
But, I mean, he got hurt pretty quickly.
Stuff can happen between now and then, or now in the season starting too, because there obviously, or not obviously, but there always is some sort of little injury that happens. But
one final poll question before we get into the 22.5. How badly do you guys want the Blazers to suck next year? Because I don't know if I've ever seen, just reading this live chat as we have this conversation, I don't know if I've ever seen this much fervor in August to be as bad as possible.
yeah,
I respect it.
So
I kind of like it. It's just a little strange to me already. How bad do you want to tank? So, wait. So bad, capture the flag. Pretty bad, kind of bad, don't tank. No, we'll do kind of bad, we'll do don't care, and we'll do don't tank. That's your options, okay? I made the first option sound so good that people are going to click it.
and just because people think the Blazers are going to be the worst team doesn't mean they're not Blazer fans. I mean, I don't understand why, if you have a realistic mindset, it's not You don't have to be overly optimistic to be a good fan. And
Yeah,
no one's saying they're not going to root for them or they're not going to have fun this season or whatever. Like, I don't know.
I don't even want to have this conversation this year. If people don't get it, they don't get it. Ultimately, if people are rooting for the Blazers to struggle this year, it's because they're rooting for them to be better in the long run. People rooting for the team to be better in the long run the next year where they don't have a chance at like winning anything in the playoffs if they miraculously made it there, that doesn't make them not Blazer fans. They're rooting for the best long-term outcome, and ultimately when you're in a rebuild, you're not rebuilding for next year, you're rebuilding for that long-term outcome. So their hopes and what they're rooting for is aligned with the status of the organization right now. In the organization, I bet you, as they've done in previous years, will end up wanting to lose at some point too. That doesn't make them less invested in the organization long term. Like, it's just a silly argument. Silly argument. I've never understood people that like try and downplay someone's fanhood because they're rooting for the best possible odds in the lottery and trying to get the best possible prospect, especially in an upcoming draft like this where you got a dude that looks like he could be generational. Cooper Flagg could be a top 5 player one day. The Blazers are going to need a superstar, okay? Honestly, Eric, the Blazers are going to need a superstar that wants to be in Portland. And the guy from Maine doesn't sound so bad.
Well, Klingon's also from Maine, so
We're just going to get Maine boys, I guess. You know?
yeah. I'm so torn on this story. I have no problem with developmental years. I don't really like the flat out just like don't play anyone for 20 or 30 games at the end of the season. Just because like I feel like it kind of hurts development of young players. Like sitting out Tamani some games at the end of the season, you know, like because he's too good. Like I don't
really
I don't want that.
cause a difference in him long term, though?
I don't necessarily know. I just don't like having to do that with like young players. But I also see the value in being as bad as possible this year, and I'm completely fine if they're as bad as possible. But I also want to see some development as well. So I'm kind of on the fence.
You could argue that them going into that mode helped Sharp break out and helped Scoot get his legs under him, though.
Yeah, and then they had to bench both of them to lose some games at the end of the season.
Yeah, but ultimately it's not like the previous 20 games are undone because they sit him for a couple of games. Like, they only sat Scoot for one game, and it was the final game. And he had his best game before that. It's not like sitting that very last game like ruined the progress he made or anything. So ultimately, I think you can make the argument that going into that mode has helped their rookies.
But if Scoot is better this year from the beginning of the season, which we both expect him to be, like, at what point does he have to sit out more than one game if they're trying to be bad?
I mean, but ultimately, if you're expecting them to be the worst team in the rest already on paper, as currently constructed, at the end of the year, assuming, you know, like, they've traded Grant, maybe traded another piece, and, you know, probably have some injury to somebody important of some kind, why would they need to sit Scoot if they're already the worst team in the West starting today? If that's true, they shouldn't need to. Well, I mean, like, the only thing is like, oh, we're trying to pass Brooklyn in the lottery standings. But if they're the worst team in the West, they'll probably have fourth best odds. And that is almost maximized.
Yeah. Well, what about the scenario you were talking about where they hit closer to that 500 ceiling and then they're nowhere near the bottom?
That is such like an outlier outcome that's like, well, we'd cry. I don't even have a response because if they're that good, that means that Scoot is probably looking like a star or Sharp is looking like a superstar. You know what I mean? Like, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Atlanta lose in the play-in and then get the number 1 pick. So they could be a team like that and still get lucky. Very long shot, but you never know. The thing is with this draft, though, it's super deep. So it's like if they don't get Cooper Flagg, I know a lot of people love Ace Bailey at number 2 overall. I'm not sold on Ace Bailey. I think like his body, and then can he like actually create separation against elite athletes? I'm not sold on that. I'm not sold on Ace Bailey being like some sure number 2 pick. I think there's a ton of talent throughout the lottery that the Blazers could end up with the 10th pick, 11th pick, and still potentially get their future star. Just like SGA was taken as a late lottery pick, just like Devin Booker was a late lottery pick. Like, I think this upcoming draft, there will be a player of that caliber, just gut feeling, from, like, taken between 9 and 14. Mm-hmm. If the Blazers don't end up with a star in next year's draft, it'll be looked back on as they made a mistake that draft because they passed on this guy. There will be a guy like that gets, if the Blazers don't end up with a star of that draft, there will be a guy that's taken right after them that they should have taken. A la Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, etc.
Right.
So it's Cooper
Or like
Flagg.
some of those drafts, you could have just like so many good players that it doesn't matter who you pick.
Yeah, 100%. Like, obviously we'll want Cooper Flagg. 14% chance if the Blazers are the worst team in the league. It's only a 14% chance. Ultimately, it's much more likely that they're drafting someone else and that guy's going to have to be their star. Or Sharp, Scoot need to break out. So if the Blazers are picking 9th or 10th because Sharp or Scoot break out, well, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's how I look at it. So, like, I'm rooting for them to like get the best lottery odds possible, but I'm also rooting for Scoot and Sharp to break out. And if I will take Scoot and Sharp breaking out and like taking legitimate steps towards future stardom, I will take that with worse lottery odds.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So like, how bad do you want to tank? Like, kinda. I'm at kinda.
The more star potential shown on this team on the roster already, the less we need that star, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's still, no matter what, it doesn't hurt to add a top 5 player potentially, like you said.
Yep. So I'm going to segue this conversation into the Blazers predicted over-under win total over on BetUS, which is 22.5 wins. You can see the money lines right there. Minus 105 for over 22.5. Minus 125 for under 22.5. We're going to set up a chat poll for this and see if you guys are taking the over or the under. The majority of you in the live chat already said that you think the Blazers are going to be the worst team in the West. But does that mean that they're winning less than 22 games? I think the worst team in the West could be a 28-29 win team this season. So I'm really looking forward to the results on this poll. And if you want to get in on this line, if you're feeling very confident about the over or maybe very confident about the under, maybe you think the Blazers are a 10-win team in next year's Detroit Pistons, I don't know. But if you're feeling confident, you can try your luck over at BetUS with our link down in the description box below, which will give you a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Eric, what do you think chat's going to pick in this poll? Or do you not want to sway them?
Yeah, I'll wait till most people have voted.
Okay. We got the over. We got the under. Vote in the chat poll. Once again, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring Blazers Uprise Live. We'll give our thoughts on this at the end. And right now, quickly out of the gates, people are smashing the over, Eric.
And they won 21 games last year, so this is pretty close to saying basically they have the exact same year as last year.
Ed Halen says, easy money. Easy money. Well, you can get that money multiplied with BetUS. It's slightly fading, Eric. Are you like split on this, or are you feeling pretty confident one way or the other?
I feel pretty confident without trades, they're going to be in the mid 20s, like 25-ish to 27-ish wins. So I think it's over if they don't make like drastic just rebuild type trades, like grant for draft picks type moves and expirings or whatever. So I I think I think I'm pretty comfortably in the over 22 and a half pending the roster staying intact.
Yeah, if this roster is what the roster is on opening night, I am smashing that over 22 and a half. I'm smashing it, Eric. So, if you're watching the stream and you're rooting for the Blazers to trade Grant, maybe trade Simons, be as bad as possible, if that's what you're rooting for, you might as well toss some money on the over, and that way it can take the sting off of if they're just completely stagnant and stale and this is the team going into next year. In a way, it's kind of hedging your bets. I don't know, but I think I am very confident with this over right now with the team as currently constructed. My prediction, man, I'm stuck between 26 and 27 wins, 14th in the West. I have no idea who's going to be worse than them. I feel like it's a team that's going to be like injury ravaged. Honestly, I don't think the Clippers have their pick this year. You can correct me if I'm wrong. But if Kawhi gets hurt, they could be pretty bad. Like, there's teams like that where if Kawhi and Harden get hurt, and Kawhi always gets hurt, and Harden's getting up there in age, who else do they have left on that team, you know? It's not a good team at all. So I think there's certain instances where, like, there's a few teams that if everything goes wrong, and normally there's a team like that, they're worse than the Blazers. So 14th in the West for the Blazers, 26 wins. Chat, leave your predictions in the live chat. Eric, prediction on rank and win total.
I think they'll be 15th with 25 wins.
Alrighty. So we're right there on the wins, both over, though. Both over. Once again, shout out to BetUS. Check out the link if you want to get in on the action. All right, Eric. I'm sure people have been dying to know why it says Seattle Blazers on the left. All right. The reason why it says Seattle Blazers on the left is because everybody that says they're going to relocate, they're going to move the team, Jody's going to sell it to some Seattle guy who's going to move them to Seattle. All those doomsdayers, Eric, they can finally stop freaking out.
For now.
Well, Seattle should have a team by the end of the Blazers lease, which just got extended. That's what we're talking about. The Blazers extended lease with the Moda Center. There's a lot that goes into this, Eric. I think you might be able to summarize it a little bit better because I was reading some of the stuff. I was just confused. Like renovations they're talking about, and the Blazers sold the arena to the city. The city's going to match the Blazers' investment in terms of renovating the arena. There's a lot going on with this deal, but the important thing is lease extended to 2030, I believe, correct?
Yeah, with an option to extend it to 2035 eventually as well. Yeah, so the Blazers, it seems kind of weird that they sold the Motor Center back to the city for $1, but that is because with the city owning it, it avoids them having to pay taxes on that land and all that kind of stuff. It also, in part of their agreement, the city and the team agreed to split the cost of routine improvements and repairs until they figure out some of the long-term things. So that means the city is going to chip in both with the Moda Center, and there's also plans to kind of reinvigorate the area around there, and including the area down by Lloyd Center there. Phil Knight had pledged a ton of money as well to improve that area. And so this is just
stop. It's about damn time.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully, we heard there was Jump Town or whatever it was supposed to be called, and it was supposed to be like shopping and restaurants and all that stuff all around the Moda Center. And other than, it keeps changing names, but what is it right now? Dr. Jack's or something.
Yeah.
Across the way there, across the fountain. But other than that, there's like no restaurants outside of there.
Yeah, that place gets packed because it's the only place.
Yeah. And then there's some places inside, like Sean Lee's bar and stuff, but that place has just been dying for some entertainment and restaurants and stuff in that area. But I think this is a pretty good sign that the Blazers are here to stay. It also takes them off the hook for a lot of money for both the improvements and taxes, like I said. So I think it seems kind of weird that they would sell it back to the city, but it also makes sense with how much money they'll probably save by doing it.
Yeah. Man, I'm up here in, where I'm streaming from is Ridgefield, Washington. They're putting in an In-N-Out next to a Costco, okay? If they can put an In-N-Out next to a Costco in Ridgefield, Washington, they can put a restaurant or two by the Moda Center. And I can't wait because I hope they put in a few restaurants around the Moda Center because I will sponsor the hell out of one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're putting in an In-N-Out next to a Costco. And guess what? The intersection that leads from I-5 to it is a freaking roundabout.
Yeah.
Which is just a horrible idea. They only have one exit to all of Ridgefield. It is a terrible idea. It's going to be fun. Tori's Bar and Grill. Yeah, maybe I should just start my own bar and grill and just use the channel to make it successful. Eric, have you ever bartended? Can I make you a bartender?
No, but at parties and stuff, I've made drinks, I guess. I don't know.
Chat, we're gonna make Eric a bartender at Tori's Bar and Grill. Uprise
Nice.
Bar. You know what? Uprise Bar and Grill has a ring to it.
Will it be better than Hooligans?
Hooligans. Hooligans is funny, man. That place is weird, though. I don't like it. I don't like it in there.
It was popping off for a couple hours the night I went.
Yeah, it'll pop off, man. The Mall 205, that area in Vancouver will pop off at night.
Yeah.
Make it a strip club, too. You wish, Tyler.
Who in chat's been to Hooligans? I went there, a couple of months ago with my wife. We stayed over by Mall 205 for the night and went out to eat and got drunk and needed a bar to go hang out in, and we found Hooligans.
Yeah, that area is probably a little bit more your speed than downtown Vancouver. Downtown Vancouver is just a bunch of frat boys and 23-year-olds, and it's just uncomfortable, man. I never fit into that scene. Chat, I don't touch grass.
Well, I went down...
And I don't touch alcohol.
The next day we went down to the waterfront area. There's a lot of wine bars and stuff down there. It's not really my...
It's bougie. Yeah, it would be cool to live in one of the apartments down there on the waterfront, especially if it was a balcony facing the Columbia River. I've always thought about that. Man, if I had a place like that, I would put in a remote camera and hook it up to my stream, because when it's Blazers post game, they'll show a shot of Portland or Moda Center as part of the intro. I'll just show the freaking Columbia River.
Nice.
Anyway, Blazers are staying. So for all you people freaking out about them relocating, you can chill. Although I don't think they want to chill, Eric. They want to freak out. I feel like it's
Some
just,
people, yeah.
they'll find some other way to freak out about the Blazers leaving or disbanding or I don't know. Jody selling them to Elon Musk, who moves them to the moon or Mars. People will find something to freak out about, and I feel like the people that freaked out about the team relocating are those people because it was never something the NBA was going to let happen.
Would you like if what our kid says came true, the Ridgefield Blazers?
Yeah, we need the Costco next to the
Costco,
In-N-Out next to
motherfucker.
the Blazers Stadium off of one single roundabout. That'd be funny. Desmond is going off. Says, delusional are these media quacks predicting Denny to break our single season triple-double record in under 50 games, but expect that to translate to the same team production. People are saying that? What is our record for single season triple-doubles?
I don't know, 2.
If it's only 2, then it's possible, but is it really only 2?
I don't know. I just remember Evan Turner had those 2. Oh, it's 4, chat saying.
You know what? If I was confident he was going to get 35 minutes a game, and if we had a little bit less ball handling and like ISO play, I would say it's possible. It's definitely possible because he rebounds, he scores, and he can pass. Like he has all the traits necessary to get triple doubles. But when you got Scoot, when you got Sharp, when you got Ant is your guards, and you got ISO Jeremy and mid-range Maestro DeAndre Ayton, I don't think he's going to have the ball enough to create enough to get 10 assists in really any games. And if he does, he also has to get the 10 rebounds too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like blasphemous to say that. He could break that in 50 games. Like 5 triple doubles in 50 games. I think it's possible, but I think it's a long shot.
Yeah. Agreed.
Anyway, let's move on to the final part of the stream. This is going to be fun because we're reacting to trade ideas that we have not seen. And this is something we're going to do through August if we see articles that are trade ideas. And these trade ideas are courtesy of Rip City Project. Okay, shout out to them. Now, these are the writer's ideas. Reese Coons is the writer. These are his ideas. And if we hate them, we're not going to be nice. Apologies in advance. Sorry, not sorry. If we love them, we'll let you know. We're going to react to them, okay? And pure, honest reaction. These are 3 trades to clear the Trailblazers' big man in the log jam. Of course, chat, you can also react. I don't need to tell you that, but leave your reaction in the chat. Okay, the first trade, Eric, involves Robert Williams III. And we'll, of course, talk about if we think the other team would even consider it or do it, etc. Okay? Robert Williams III to the Sacramento Kings, and the Blazers get back 2 second-round picks and Kevin Huerter.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to do a yes or no poll. Would you do that trade?
I don't think there's any way Sacramento's doing that.
I don't think so either.
I would probably do that just to flip Herder because I think he has more trade value right now than Robert Williams does.
You know what's funny, though? Like, Herder is kind of the type of role player we need, though. We need more shooting. Like, we need more floor spacing.
I just don't know where you play him with having
That's the problem.
3 guards already. And
Yeah.
if you're not trading Jeremy, you still have the problem where you have Denny and Jeremy at the forward spots and you have your 3 guards already. So I don't know where he's really getting many minutes.
You remember when the Hawks drafted him and it was like, oh, yeah, they think of him as like Clay to Trae Young, who is Steph.
Yeah.
That was funny. But
I mean, they
I
did
would
make
do
a
it.
conference finals early in his career, but
If you can get any value for Kevin Herter, I think it's a dub, right? And I think you can get maybe a second or two. So yeah, I'd do it. I'd do it. And if you don't,
if
like, Herter could maybe help your floor spacing a little bit if he ends up playing.
if you put Trey Lyles in 2 seconds, are you saying no or?
I think that's the baseline.
Yeah.
I think that's, like, if you can get anything better than that, yes, you take it. If you get something worse than that, it's probably not worth it, but, like, also I don't really care.
Right.
So I feel like that trade package is kind of the gauge for Rob Will.
Yeah, Rob Will's one of those guys who's like, obviously if he's healthy, he's gonna it's gonna look foolish like if we give him away, but he's also one of those players where I don't think it like hurts you long term if you just salary dump him.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed. Agreed. All right, next trade. Let's see what it says. I just see the title. The title is Blazers make an aggressive move for Brandon Ingram.
Ugh.
Do you want to say
Well,
no before even seeing the trade?
well, for one, I mean this doesn't have to be a fact, but New Orleans said they're not trading him anymore, which could just be a thing. But yeah, so this is obviously going to involve some sort of Aiton for Ingram with probably another team involved.
Yeah. Actually, I don't think there's another team involved.
Okay. So what's the trade?
Okay. So, the Blazers get Brandon Ingram and Matt Ryan,
Matty Ice?
and they trade DeAndre Ayton, Matisse Thybulle, and a 2027 first-round pick.
Ew. Ew. Yeah, I'm not giving up a first for.
This article says it potentially pushed them ahead of only the Utah Jazz. Portland definitely needs a go-to star on its roster. Brandon Ingram's never going to be the number one on a team that does anything. Your hope is that Scoot and Sharp, maybe Ant, like blossom into that number one on a team that can actually do something. I think Ant is more likely to be a number 2, number 3 on a team that's good. It's tough for me to see him being like a lead guy on a playoff team that has a chance to like win series. The hope is obviously with Sharp or Scoot, like they have the upside to be that. And if not, then you probably just embrace being a crappy team the next couple of years so you can get that guy. You don't make a move for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
So, chat, would you do this trade?
If it was like an Aiton for Ingram, but I don't think New Orleans would do that, so it's probably doesn't matter. But if you did that, technically Ingram's an expiring contract, so you could just play it off like that. I don't think I would have a huge problem with that kind of move. Maybe he even plays well enough to have some value at some point in the season.
I don't want to see Brandon Ingram play next to Jeremy Grant, though, dude.
I know, that's the problem. And you already have Denny. But in my mind, if you give up a first-round pick, it needs to be for a player like on a rookie contract or a player like Denny that has some potential to be a long-term starter as a younger player. I don't think you do it for any kind of established veteran or anyone in their mid to late 20s.
Yeah. Chat just gave me my first facepalm of the night, Eric.
Okay, what was it?
The comment is, BI is a star. What are you talking about? Brother, Brandon Ingram has not made the All-Star game since 2020, okay? And being a star is different from being the number one option on a team that has a chance at playoff success. Brandon Ingram is not going to be a number one player on a team that has a chance of playoff success. You know what's funny, Eric? Is there's a former Pelican that's much better than he is that has never really done anything as the number one option on a team that has had playoff success. He needed to go be the number 2. And that, of course, is Anthony Davis. And he is far better than Brandon Ingram. At least he won a playoff series, but that's because, Terry Stotts decided to run pick and roll 40 feet away from the rim over and over again into a trap, but that's neither here nor there. Brandon Ingram has made one All-Star game 5 years ago.
BS fine. He's
good.
A decent player. He's just...
But what are you trying to accomplish with him as your number one option?
Especially when you have wings that just, like, I don't know how many threes he shoots a game, but it's not enough. Like, he's a mid-range. He's almost becoming DeRozan-ish,
Yeah.
Where it's like, he's really good at scoring, but is it really that good to be good at scoring in the areas he's good at scoring at? I don't know.
Yeah. He's, like, solidly efficient. He's, like, not terrible defensively, but not good. He can pass. He can score. He's good. He's not a number one. Like, Eric, honestly, this is going to sound funny, but I don't even think I'd trade Ayton straight up for Brandon Ingram. And it's not because I think Ayton's better than Ingram. I think Ingram's better than Ayton. But ultimately, I don't want to bring in a guy who's just going to dominate the ball on top of a guy like Jeremy who already is prone to dominating the ball, because I think that takes away from the growth of Scoot Henderson and Shane Sharp. I think bringing in Ingram for Ayton takes away from the growth of Scoot and Sharp. Also, Denny. I want the ball in his hands, too.
Mm-hmm.
So, Ayton is more of like a guy that can function off those guys. Where Ingram is more of a get him the ball and he'll go do something.
Yeah, I'm with JP Savvy. I need a third team involved if this is what we're doing.
Yeah, you flip Ingram somewhere. 1,000%. For whatever you can get.
But
if the New Orleans want that trade. You do not bring Brandon Ingram into Portland.
And for me, a first-round pick, like Jarvis Walker or something like that, maybe I consider giving up a first for a player that could potentially fit into our long-term plans. But yeah, I'm not doing it for Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, 1,000%. No way.
And to Pim in chat, he was talking about why don't we go after Lauri Markkanen. He signed his own extension purposely the day after it would be 6 months until the trade deadline. So he is actually ineligible to be traded this season, and that was by design. So he is with Utah for the entire season. Hence why we talked about worst in the West, because it is official now that the Jazz will not trade Lauri Markkanen and cannot trade Lauri Markkanen this season.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the news we forgot to mention when having that conversation between the Blazers and the Jazz. Anyway, final trade. I'll read the headline and then I'll read the package. You ready?
Yeah.
Chicago Bulls find their long-term center.
We're getting Vucevic?
This is not what I was expecting at all.
All right, hit me.
I'm just going to say, before I say the price, there's absolutely zero chance Chicago does this. Like, this would be them getting fleeced, in my opinion. Okay. The Bulls get Robert Williams III. I guess he's their long-term center.
He's their future. Okay.
And the Blazers get back, can you guess, one player.
I might have to look at their...
No, I guess off the top of your head.
Well, I mean, Patrick Williams just signed, so he can't be traded. Lonzo Ball, it makes too much, I think, for
Mm-hmm.
that trade to work. I don't even know who they'd have that would match salary. Um, I don't think it would be a guard. I don't know.
It is a guard. It's Io DeSunmu.
Oh, how much does he make?
I
I understand
mean,
that.
he only has to make like half of what Rob Will makes.
Yeah. Yeah,
New
I'm glad
new
you didn't say
matching
good.
rules. So Io DeSunmu was quietly very solid last year, Eric.
I mean, he's a decent guard. Like,
He he
okay offensively, good defensively. I don't know.
oh here are his numbers last year. At 24 years old in his third NBA season. Okay. In 29 minutes per game, he averaged 12 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot 57% from 2 and 40% from 3.
Hmm.
He's a two-way player.
How many attempts
From 3? 4 a game.
It's a little more than I thought. Still pretty low in today's.
4 a game for a two-way guard, like
Hmm.
can hit mid-range, a little bit of a 3-level score.
Saves
Like
us some money. Is this just
he
straight up?
this is just straight up.
No picks involved.
No
Yeah.
picks involved. Would you do this trade? Yes or no, chat?
I'd still want to trade Grant so that Sharp plays some more or can start at the 3.
Yeah. Yeah. So then you could play Io as your third guard.
Yeah.
I mean, that would
Um,
absolutely be the goal after this.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It saves us a decent chunk of money.
I would do it in a freaking heartbeat.
Yeah.
I
I
would
don't
do it like
understand how that's a long-term center for the Bulls.
no. I mean, I don't think there's any chance the Bulls like why the hell would the Bulls do that?
We got another young player with a really good value contract right now.
JP says value wise yes, fit wise no. If the Blazers only had 2 of their 3 guards though, I feel like it'd be a great fit.
I feel like he's a good like practice guard to like defend Scoot and Sharp too.
Oh,
Make them
2.
better.
I thought you were just saying he's just a good practice guard. I was like,
No, I'm just saying like Scoot going up against him in practice every day, I think would make him better.
yeah, 100%. He's good. I mean, 50-40. What was he from the free throw line? 81%. 50-40-80.
Pim, stop suggesting trades. I love you, man, but
Yeah. Hartenstein can't be traded, and why would OKC do that? What are we doing? What are we doing? Yeah, good defender. Some 3-level scoring. Shot 40% from 3 last year. Like, it's, like 6'4", 6'5", solidly size 2 guard. You do that in a freaking heartbeat. If you're Portland, in my opinion. Chat, only 60. Okay, we got it up to 67, 68. I think you do this in a heartbeat. This is the best trade for the Blazers. This is better than the Kevin Huerter in 2 seconds.
yeah.
Would you trade Ayton for Io and Vucevic? I'd be tempted to. I don't really like Vucevic. I don't know. Like, you're getting back an asset for Ayton, right? That should be the goal, right? Even if you're getting back a guy like Vucevic.
Yeah, and it's 2 more players on the roster. Or you're bringing in 1 more.
I mean, you just attached freaking Banton or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
I would probably do Ayton for Io and Vucevic. Because you could probably justify playing Vucevic less without him pouting about it, whereas Ayton probably going to pout about it. And Vucevic, at least at some point in his career, could hit threes. So there's hope that maybe he could open up the paint a little bit for the guards. He was only 29% last year, but the year before that was 35%. For his career, 34%. So, yeah, I'd do that trade. I talked myself into it.
Nice. Well, those ended up being as bad as I thought they were going to be.
They just signed him. He can't be traded. Who? Who just signed?
I think it's talking about Hartenstein still.
Oh, yeah, Hartenstein can't be traded. Yeah, it feels like it opens up the door for Klingon a little bit more. Yeah, it opens up the door for him a little bit more if you traded Ayton for, like, Vucevic. And you could justify playing, like, Vucevic 24 minutes a game, Klingon, 16, and Rob Will 8. And you could maybe play... If Vucevic can, like, hit threes again, you could maybe play Robert Williams with Vucevic a little bit and not have your spacing be absolutely cooked. So, if you're getting back a legitimate asset on top of Vucevic for Ayton, I think you do it.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one. That's why I like looking at trades. It sparks conversation, sparks about what's possible. If we have more articles like that in the future, we'll react to them. Once again, that was from Rip City Project. By the way, the chat poll for BetUS over-under wins. The result was 68% people smashing that over at negative 105, which basically means if you bet $105, you win 100. Okay? We're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff with BetUS this year. I'm looking forward to picks against the spread, man. That is only going to be starting in a little over 2 months. That's always a ton of fun. They're going to be providing the lines for that, and we'll also take a look at more lines. They bring a fun element to our post-game shows and whatnot. So shout out to them. You can get 125% deposit bonus up to $2,000 on your first 3 deposits with the link in the description, especially if you're feeling confident with that bet. Also, I did not make this graphic. They make sick graphics too. Fits the theme, So shout out to them.
Yeah.
Let me know what you guys want us to pick next in terms of lines over on BetUS if you check out their website. They got lines on a bunch of stuff, so you can suggest stuff to us if you want. Also, if you have a BetUS account, we're giving away $25 in free play to up to 5 people this month. So if you want $25 free play, let us know. We just need your account information. You can just DM me on Twitter, message me on Discord, email me, whatever you want, and I'll hook you up with $25 free play. Terms and conditions apply. Shout out to BetUS. All right, we'll take a couple questions, and then we will be done with this stream. Are there odds for Blazers players getting traded? That is a good question. I know there was odds last season for Malcolm Brogdon's next team.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to look it up now, okay? But if there are odds, we're not going to discuss them now. That could be something on next Monday's show.
Nice.
Something fun. Anyway, questions from chat before we wrap up the stream. Let's look at NBA specials. Let's see what they have. Boston Celtics are plus 3,000 to win a championship next season. They're plus 1,000 to three-peat. Ooh, Eric, this is a fun one for you. Alex Sarr over under points per game, 10.5. Over is minus 130, under is minus 110. What would you take there for your guy Sarr, who looked abysmal in Summer League?
Well, rookie year, I'm probably taking under because he was always kind of a project. So yeah. I'm pretty safely taking the under, probably.
They also got Klingon over under points. That might be something we have to look at next show.
Ooh.
They have a lot of rookies. They have Bronny James games played.
Yeah, this will be interesting next.
Of course, they got a lot of Bronny stuff. Bronny James' method of first basket. That's an interesting phrase. Oh my goodness, they got so many brawny. Yeah, it's a lot of rookie stuff. But I assume at some point if Jeremy Grant's still on the team, they may have odds for him. Or maybe I can ask if they can get odds to them. I'm in with BetUS, guys. I work with them. So I know like a lot of their team over there. So shout out to them. Do we got any good questions from chat?
Are y'all ready for football? Says Chase.
So ready. But also, I have not done any of my studying for fantasy football, Eric, so I need to get on that. Need to watch. Ron Stewart is my guy. He helped me have what I thought was a phenomenal draft last year, and it didn't even matter. It was literally probably my best fantasy football draft ever, and I missed the playoffs. And normally I always make the playoffs. So, don't really know what happened. Don't really remember. Because I got Laporta, I got Nico Collins, I drafted freaking A-Chain. Well, I traded A-Chain, but I kept Nico Collins, kept Laporta. There's somebody else that I got as a steal. I know like Gus Edwards was like 160th something pick. He was solid for that range. Like, I guess it was drafting Tony freaking Pollard. Oh, yeah, everybody got hurt. That's right. Thank you, Connor, for reminding me. Everybody got hurt. I know I pulled off a couple masterful trades. Oh, yeah, I picked up Puka Nacua on the way. Dude, I don't know how. Like, last season was a fever dream, fever nightmare. So maybe I'm not ready, Eric. Are you ready, though?
Yeah, I got... a week from Saturday, my keeper league draft, so
I'm tempted. So we got like our 12-person league that we just redraft every year. I'm tempted to see if they want to also do a keeper league on the side. That could be fun. Just the same 12. I don't know.
Would be kind of weird being in the same league with or two leagues with the same 12
kind of
people.
confusing. Probably kind of confusing, but I don't know. I like having only one fantasy team so I can like root for specific players. I feel like if I'm too invested in different teams, it's like too all over the place in terms of what I'm rooting for.
Mm-hmm.
Tori, do you want to join a Dynasty League? Or Eric, let me know. Chase, what's the buy-in? You could tempt me. I am someone who is willing to give in to temptation. Wes Davidson, that also sounds like a fever dream. Although, if the Niners trade Brandon Ayuk, Eric, I'm a little less ready for the NFL season.
Yeah.
Chase, honestly, that sounds like perfect amount for me. Because, like, our league, because we got 100 on the line, going to be main league. That's what I'm rooting for, but I'll participate. That's enough to get me to participate. One Piece is about time you soured on DK.
Well, I thought you were going to talk about One Piece for a second.
No, his name is One Piece. I ain't talking about the anime. I'm not no anime head. Who knows if One Piece even knows what One Piece is?
Oh, I'm sure that's his name.
We should add him to our... Actually, no. We should not add him to our group chat because then you guys are going to talk about One Piece more. So we got a group chat on Twitter, and all these dudes been talking about for the past month is One Piece.
That's not all these dudes have been talking about.
That's all I see.
You've been talking about the Mariners lately more than...
Yeah, sports. Sports. We need Mariners fans in our group chat. So if you're a Mariner fan, I want to be in our group chat. DM me on Twitter so I have some people to relate to. When these dudes are talking about anime, we can talk about baseball.
I would rather have a Blazers trade to talk about.
I mean, we'd all like that, right?
Yeah.
I need some Mariners fans, brethrens. That'd be great. That walk-off was sick tonight. Thank God. Did you see the play?
Yeah.
After last night when Cowrally's homer got robbed, it was like, oh God, it's going to be another miraculous defensive play, and then he missed the ball. I'm getting really into baseball, man. Like, the Mariners are painful, but I'm just enjoying the sport.
That's good. You hit the pitch clock has helped with that?
Yes, absolutely. 1,000%. Greatest change I've seen a sport make.
Yeah.
There's just a rhythm to the game now that was not there before. I know the purists hated it, but it's fun now. It's good now.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back on Monday. I'll probably be either tanner or redder. Okay.
You'll be back on Monday. I might not be.
What shade will Tori be when he gets back on
Lobster
Monday?
red.
Red is minus 250. Tan is plus 300. Check out BetUS. Back from where? The beach. How many layers of... Never mind. Never mind. Anyway, I saw the comment about peeling. I'm just not going to say what I was going to say. Anyway. Anything else, Eric?
No, I just appreciate everyone for watching. Hope you guys have a good weekend. And even if I'm not here on Monday, you guys should let us know what your least and most favorite thing about the weekend was.
Yep. If Eric's not here on Monday, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. Yeah, I'm going to go touch sand before I touch grass. A little backwards. But anyway, appreciate you guys hanging out with us.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you to BetUS for sponsoring this edition of the Blazers. I almost said the Blazers Uprise postgame show. That's wrong, Eric. That's not correct.
2 months?
2 months, though.
Less than 2 months till the first preseason game.
I thought it was on October 11th.
Is it the 11th? Is it that late?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so
they're really
2 months.
late with it. So they've pushed that back, but 2 months away. 2 months ago, it was like early June. We were talking about draft. So, time flies, man. Time flies when you're getting old. Anyway, thank you to BetUS for sponsoring Blazers Uprise Live. We're out of here. We will catch you again on Monday. Next week, I want to try and get a couple video uploads as well. So, not going to work on anything this weekend. I'm relaxing. I need it. Looking forward to it. Hopefully, you guys can enjoy your weekends as well. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. That's a wrap. We'll catch you next time. And until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers!